Hey guys, Al Pool here from Party Time DJ Services at my beautiful camp here in on Manitoulin Island. Actually, that's not my camp. That's my daughter's bunkie in the woods. My camp is just back here. That's actually the deck. The camp is the main entrance is out front. But we spend actually a lot of time doing some karaoke here. And we like to sing to our friends and family who usually sit down here by the fire on these beautiful benches. But I thought it'd be, this is Father's Day weekend 2025, and I thought what a great idea it would be to take out three awesome modern battery powered speakers for review and comparison, and at the same time do a fuller review of Yorkville's brand new EXM Pro 10. But I had the chance to listen to these three speakers all weekend long, and it was quite the pleasure to test them and compare them sound wise, but also output wise, and it was just a great weekend to do that. So let's have a quick look at our three different speakers. This is Yorkville's Mobile 8. As you can see, it's from Long McQuade's rental stock, but the Mobile 8, 200 watt, 400 watt peak, portable active loudspeaker, and weighs in at 17 pounds. It's got a nice little mixer section here. 3 inputs. There's also Bluetooth compatible, of course. You can stream your music or even karaoke tracks while singing at the same time. You do have different shaping of each channel. So the shape either goes from music or speech, or set right in the middle for something that's not too fat, but it's not too mid either. The center kind of is a good setting, I think, for music if you want maximum headroom and output. But yeah, basically, if you turn the knob all the way to music, it's just nice and fat, and all the way to speech, it's more appropriate. I usually plug my microphone in this channel here and set it all the way to speech, and gives a nice, clear, and it improves, gives you maximum vocal intelligibility. You can also add some reverb. There's just one reverb, but it's like a nice, it's almost like a bigger hall reverb. It's nice, and you can adjust it according to taste. So I find it's a very nice choice for the reverb. Maximum SPL is rated at the 117, if I recall correctly, 120 or 121 peak. I was able to measure at maximum output roughly 116 dB, so not too far off spec. This is Yorkville's brand new, actually, EXM 10 Pro, a 10-inch version. The EXM Mobile 8 obviously has an 8-inch woofer and a combination mid-range, well, coaxial mid-range slash tweeter for the mids and highs. The new Yorkville here has a 10-inch woofer and actually a real compression driver in there, 1-inch compression driver, powered by 350 watts continuous and 850 watts peak. And as you can see here, we have a very nice and very developed and flexible mixer section with the 3 different outputs, also a main output, main input, and main output. We do have they are all battery powered, but this one here claims the total 12 hours battery life. It's a 48-volt battery, so a bigger battery than previous offerings. So 48-volt battery, 12-hour runtime at full volume. But a nice touch here is you can actually power your electronic device at the same time. So if you're running an iPad or MP3 player while singing all through battery power, you can be charging your device or powering your device while at the same time powering the speaker itself. Very flexible mixer channel. You can have a different EQ on each channel. It also applied different effects on each channel. So you just basically check if you want to do something. Say your microphone's plugged into mic line 1. Select line 1. Go into your EQ settings. You can adjust low. If you press the button, it goes to mids. Press it again, goes to high. But you have you just adjust it, and it's a cool little feature where it lights up. So I guess this is good for gigging musicians if you're playing in a bar at night and visibility is not too good. You can see how much you're adding to the low, mid, or high EQ. A very nice touch, Yorkville. And also you can have a different reverb or delay or compression on any channel. You can just adjust that manually. You can have a combination of them. I think the compression is good to have on microphone channels, obviously, but it works very well. I tested it yesterday for some karaoke. And then in sound modes, you have your master volume, but also have 3 different sound modes: live, club, and monitor. So I'll go over the sound quality of all 3 speakers afterwards, but that just gives you, I think that I really love the flexibility of this. but also the fact that you can connect. You have channel 3 has either an aux in, where you can plug in an MP3 player or whatnot, or you can use Bluetooth as well. So that's assigned to channel 3. But I think the flexibility of having three channel mixer here, and the fact that you can just touch anything at any time without having to go through an entire menu system, will be appreciated by a lot of people. So there you go, just a quick look at that. Then our final one here is Electro-Voices, or EVs, Everse 8, a very popular choice as well. A very compact 17-pound box, 400 watts. I believe it's continuous power available to an 8-inch woofer and a 1-inch. I don't think it's an actual compression driver. It's probably some kind of tweeter, but it sounds very, very sweet. Have a look at the back here. What we'll see here in the back is a little more simple setup. The reason being is that a lot of the parameters on the speaker are controlled via this one knob here, which is one drawback for me personally. But you can also, there's an EV app which I downloaded that lets you control the different sources, inputs 1, 2, and 3, 4. And you can actually adjust many parameters, including low, mids, top, high frequencies, similar to the EXM 10 Pro here, but also add reverb and adjust reverb and the level for each of the different sources. So if you want to buy this, you're definitely going to want to be familiar with using an app and being okay with that, which is great. It's great for musicians if you don't mind using your phone and adjusting parameters via your phone or tablet or whatnot. That's the only really thing that I don't love. I personally prefer having all the things accessible directly on the speaker, so I can make a really quick change without having to go into a menu system or without having to pull out my phone and go into an app to make adjustments. But that's just me personally. But that is the Everse 8. I would like to thank my musician friend Rodney, for letting me take it out for a spin this weekend and testing it out and comparing it to the two Yorkville offerings here. All right, so let's get into the more interesting things about my testing, which would be sound quality and also output level. I did bring an SPL meter with me, and I did some testing. I set a specific testing area. It's very, very scientific what I did. So I'll go over here to the side of my camp here. So you see this hammer? So essentially I would place whatever speaker it would have to align exactly with this hammer, and I would measure from the edge here. I would take my SPL meter and I go slowly up and down while the song was playing to get the meter was set to slow response, C weighted, and it also had a peak hold, so it takes whatever is the highest reading it takes while you're testing is what it's going to retain. So I do have SPL measured specs for each speaker. Now, when you have to take in mind, when manufacturers usually do these SPL ratings or measures, they are going to be using either a sine wave or a certain frequency. Say if they're going to take 1 hertz and play 1 hertz through that speaker and see how much SPL it generates, that usually at a 1 meter distance. I measured with music just to see how the specs would differ, and there's definitely some differences. But let's take it one box at a time for overall SPL and sound quality. Starting with the old Mobile 8. A lot of people are familiar with the Mobile 8. It's been out for a few years. 5.5 hours of battery life. Frequency response down to 60 hertz and maximum SPL. I believe Yorkville rates it at 117 continuous and 120 or 121 maximum. I was able to measure, I think it's 115.8, or let's say 116 dB at the distance that I showed you, which is about, 14, 15 inches from the source. And this was all speakers. I was feeding them a signal from my mixer. They're all plugged in, but absolutely no EQ applied from my mixer. And this is where it gets a little tricky, because I had to play around with the sound settings a little bit to get the maximum output. Because if you set, like, for example, if you set this, the Mobile 8, all the way to music, and you crank it up, the woofer's obviously going to run out of headroom quicker. So I went from the music setting to all the way to the speech setting, did a few measures and saw what I could get at the maximum setting of the speaker. This one, I think I required a lot of signal, even with the level all the way up and the master all the way up. I still had to feed it quite the significant amount of level from my Yorkville PGM8 mixer. But yeah, it topped up at about 116 decibels from where I measured it, which is still quite decent from a 17-pound little box here. Sound quality is very good until you get up to the limits of what it can do, which is, something you'll see across most active speakers. It breaks up a little bit at higher volumes, and you can notice that the woofer does get kind of, I guess the Yorkville designed it so once it gets to the extremes of what it can do, it rolls off the deeper frequencies, and you can actually hear it. But overall, if your needs are slightly lower SPL, you want something that's very compact and easy to carry around at 17 pounds, at $849 Canadian, I think it's a really good deal, and you still get Yorkville's 2-year, even if you break it warranty. So for a lot, I think my brother uses this Mobile 8, and he actually rents 2 of them at a time. They do have a nice full sound up to the limits of what the 8-inch woofer can do. But if you have like a pair of them, they can serve both as monitor and as your main PA in small places. If you're like play acoustic guitar and just running a simple acoustic and mic setup. So as you can see, all of these have like the tilt feature. So they just tilt back for use as monitors. So in smaller bar or something, if you have 2 of them, rent 2 of these from Long McQuade, and you're probably good for an acoustic act. So who should I move up to next? I guess we'll do the EV Everse 8. This is actually a big surprise to me. This is the first time I actually review an Electro-Voice product, and I was actually really surprised. The claimed wattage on this is 400 watts. Believe it's continuous to an 8-inch woofer and 1-inch. It's not a compression driver. I believe it's some kind of tweeter, but sounds very nice and sweet. Very detailed, and if you adjust there's different sound settings in here, and I found the sound settings to be excellent. There's like music, I believe live, speech, and FR for if you're playing the guitar and you want to monitor for your guitar. So there's, I think, 4 different settings, and you can EQ them low, mids, and top end. But I thought that the settings were actually a very strong point of this speaker. They're very well done. You can hear this really big distinction between one sound setting and the other. With the live, just having a little bit less low end, but nice clarity. The music has a bit more bottom end, a bit more top end, and the speech cuts out pretty much all the bass and really focuses on those mid frequencies. The FR I didn't really play with because I don't play guitar. But overall, very nice, sweet sounding cabin. I thought it was very well balanced. I was surprised actually at the sound. It's almost like a home stereo speaker, nice crisp up top. Very just nice, very pleasant sound, not overly bassy, just very, very well balanced in all modes. Even there's a club mode, if I recall correctly. And the club mode obviously just gives that extra oomph below. But there's also different settings for if the speaker's on a tripod, if it's used as kickback or as monitor. So you can really play around and get I think you probably need to play around and to get the best out of the speaker. Because out of the box, I'm not sure what it's set to, but play around with different sound settings. They're very, very well done. And the claimed output SPL from EV is 121 dBs. I actually measured this at 120.6, and that's just into limiting, just once I saw the limit light come on. So this is very accurate from Electro-Voice. So the little 17-pound box did actually put out almost 121 decibels, and that's just into limiting. So yeah, I was actually very surprised and impressed by this speaker overall. I did download the app, and I went in and I played with different channels. I was able to set myself up with a karaoke song streaming, and I plugged in the mic, and I was able to adjust the parameters on the microphone, add some reverb to my voice. I ended up getting a very good sound overall, but it takes it took me a lot of playing with my telephone, going from this to that, and figuring out there's a certain learning curve for the mixer. But I'm guessing once you get used to doing a mixer on your telephone, it's very good. But overall, the price of the EV, it's actually the priciest of all of these speakers at $1099. But for its size and weight, stellar performance. Like I said, it's the first time I try an EV product, but I was very impressed by the overall sound quality, balanced sound, and flexibility of the speaker. The only down point for me would be the fact that you have to use a mixer, and that the back of it, that single knob While it does work, it's a bit of a pain to get into every time you need to make a certain modification. So that's probably the one drawback I feel with the EV. It's unfortunate because the rest of the speaker I thought was phenomenal for considering its 17-pound weight and its size. Very, very, very great sound. All right, final contender. Oh, and the frequency response on the speaker is 60 hertz again. Dispersion, I forget. I know that for the Mobile 8 dispersion is 90 by 90. The EXM 10 Pro 90 by 40 or 90 by 60. I forgot to check about this one, but I'm pretty sure it spreads the sound pretty much similarly to these guys. So yeah, let's move on to the next one, the Yorkville EXM 10 Pro. Now you can see there's a certain size difference between the three. Well, it's a bit elevated here, but you can see there's still a size difference between the three speakers. And that would be because of the bigger 10-inch woofer and slightly bigger box that gives it its fat sound. So I really wanted, I rented the EXM 10 Pro for a month. I've been testing it for a little while. I love the speaker. There are definitely some pros and there's a few cons as well, so I'll go into those quickly. Overall, very nice mixture section. Flexibility is stellar on this. I like the fact that you can just modify anything with the push of a button, and that the different EQ is assignable, different reverb is assignable to each channel, but you can do it quickly with your fingers without having to go into a menu system. That's definitely a big plus for the EXM Pro 10. Weight is 29.7 or just under 30 pounds, so heavier than the 17-pound Mobile 8 and Everse 8. What you get for that extra pound and extra size? Well, definitely fatter sound. Better bass response overall, and it can, because it's a 10-inch woofer in a bigger box, it can maintain that fat sound at higher levels than the other two. It's not really a fair comparison to compare 8s to 10s overall, but if you're looking at the price of $849, $1049, $1099, I think that it should be mentioned that it is capable of putting out that extra fat low end if that's something that's important to you. It does get loud too. The Yorkville specs it at 350 watts continuous, 850 watts peak. They do print a peak SPL level of 134. That is not anywhere near what I measured, unfortunately, though. So I'm guessing this was done probably with a single frequency or something. So the spec measured was 134. I measured 121.3, I believe, or 121.7. That is with I actually had to apply some EQ from my PGM8 mixer. The thing is, these three modes, the live, club, and monitor mode, all have, well, maybe not the monitor so much, but they have a lot of low end. And I think that kind of hinders the output and performance of the speaker before it starts to blink that it's in limiting. Even in monitor mode did yield the higher SPL, but I think that out of the box, I found the sound, it's very warm sounding speaker. It's something you'd like to listen to music in the backyard. If you want a nice full sound, it definitely lets its presence be known by its fat sound. But when it comes to live sound, I think these sound modes in here would probably benefit from a bit of, it sounds like basically, I would just name the three different sound modes. Lots of bass, even more bass, and not so much bass. I didn't hear any difference in the top or mid range in all three. It just seems like a different amount of bass applied to the speaker. When I plugged it from, if I plug it into the main and I feed it a signal from my PGM8, essentially to make it sound more open and sweet, I basically boost everything up from 2K to 10K. Because out of the box, I found it a bit dark. That would be one of my criticisms. It's a bit dark for a PA speaker. It does sound nice. I guess that's the kind of sound that a lot of people do like, is that nice fat full sound. But I think it would have benefited from having a different sound in the live mode. Live should have a little bit more emphasis on the mid range and top end, especially if like maximum output is your goal and vocal intelligibility. So that's one of my criticisms is the sound mode. Also, yeah, just out of the box, I just find there's a bit too much bass added for what is a PA speaker essentially, and it's still a 10-inch woofer. So in general, I'm not even sure I approve of a club mode in a 10-inch PA speaker. It's still done fairly well, but I would have liked to see the live sound have a bit less bass, just because what happens is it also affects your microphone sound, where when you plug in a mic, you do have to go in those settings, and you have to EQ the low completely out of there because there's so much low frequency in the initial voicing of the speaker. So when I connected it to my PGM8, just if I were to use it, for example, as a PA speaker, I did boost the 2K, 4K, 5K to 10K, everything above 2K, just to open up that mid and top end. Because there is a real compression driver. It does have the potential of a very, very beautiful sound, very nice and clear and full sound. I just don't feel that the initial voicing of the speaker lets it live up to its full potential. So that's pretty much my only criticism. As for output, it does get very loud, but it gets loud while having a very, very nice and full sound. So if the full sound is important to you, even if you wanted to pair these to DJ a small event, you definitely could. Um, so a little bit bulkier, but it definitely is a fatter. It's like just a more capable version of the Mobile 8 in a bigger format. But like if you like bass, if you want the ultimate tailgate speaker, EXM Mobile 10 Pro is a great choice. It's also great for like I say, live sound, or for your daily performer, busker, an acoustic duo. The flexibility of the mixer section is a definite big plus here, and the fact that you can choose your EQ and reverb and all these settings independently, each channel, I think is great. I just feel the speaker has more potential than what you see out of the box. I feel that the initial voicing should have been done a little bit. It seems just dark to me, a little dark out of the box. Kind of like if you run the Mobile 8 in full music mode, it's just dark for a PA speaker. So apply some EQ, apply your different EQ to your different channels to get the best out of it. But delivers a hell of a lot of thump for a battery powered speaker. Not to mention the 12-hour battery life at full volume, and the USB port to charge your devices. So overall, a great speaker. It could be even better with just a few tweaks, or if you plug it into your mixer. But at $1049, $849, $1099, I think all these three speakers have their strong points and their weaknesses, depending on your application. But I'm always unbiased in my reviews. I like to be honest and I say things like they are, and how I feel after testing all three speakers for the full weekend. So overall, the EXM 10 Pro would probably be my favorite of the three for my personal applications. And if I were to replace my 10-inch tops with a pair of these, they would be great for DJing with some EQ applied from my mixer. I wouldn't hate seeing 100 hertz high pass filter on the box when used with. Not every sub has a high pass out, or has a where you can cut the frequencies out of your top, so that'd be another little benefit. But other than that, for 29 some pounds, a whole lot of bass and 12-hour battery life, I think it's a great offering from Yorkville, especially at $1049, and with Yorkville's 2-year even if you break it warranty. So that was my little bit more detailed review on the EXM 10 Pro. I'm still going to keep testing it, but I really loved having the chance to test it against its smaller brother and against the EV offering. So as mentioned, all three speakers I had lots of fun with. They all have their pros and their cons. It all depends on your particular uses. But that's it. Happy Father's Day, guys. Sorry this was a longer video, but I just felt I needed to really get into details with these three speakers. And it should also be mentioned that this is not Yorkville's biggest battery-powered speaker. They actually have the EXM 12 Pro as well, which is even bigger and with higher output, obviously. Bigger 12-inch woofer. And it's a combination coax and compression driver on the top end, for the mids and top end. But I haven't had a chance to review that one, but I did see a review, and it sounds very good according to the Long McQuade guys. So there you go. 3 active battery powered speakers shootout for you, something different, all with their pros and cons. So good job, Yorkville. Good job, EV. And we'll see you later. It's been Al Pooley from Party Time DJ Services.